What is up, CWA listeners?
Some people are addicted to this.
I hope so.
I'm not going to break your addiction, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I just really want to.
Change towards the good.
Man.
Oh, yeah. I'm always encouraging, that's what I do.
Thank you very much.
I hear that's what they do in Africa.
That's what we do in Africa.
Man.
That's awesome.
Are you getting that?
I'm getting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoy through music.
We groove to music. We jam out to music.
We will gather courage to face our daily challenge.
I needed courage earlier. I'll talk about that later.
Are you getting that? Thank you very much.
I'm trying to get it. I got a double getting that.
What's that, Amon?
Always positive.
Always positive.
Always.
He doesn't go negative style.
No, he don't.
Not Amon. No, never.
No.
Black, white, Asian.
He's so inclusive. He's the most inclusive Zimbabwean pastor I know.
Yes.
That's what we do in Africa.
That's how they do it over there.
That's what they
man.
do. All right. Hey, Steve. Hi. I'm Chris.
Hey, we're gonna on the 10th. This is the 10th episode of the CWA podcast,
Yeah.
and we're gonna get our names correct. I am Steve Clifton.
And I'm Chris Bird.
We are.
CWA.
What does that mean?
Christians with attitude.
We're hyped up. It's the 10th episode, man. 10th one.
Sunday. Monster trucks. Okay, sorry.
I need to do the announcements like that this Sunday.
You do, man.
Right after a really slow, heartful song. Are you ready? Anyways.
Yeah, I feel bad for Steve. I set him up for announcement failure all the time.
It is tough.
I would
It is
save the
tough.
most powerful worship song known to man.
I know.
For right before he comes to bring announcements about kids camp or something. And he's just like struggling over there. He's like wiping tears away.
Yeah, it is a hard act to follow. A lot of times, especially, it's like sometimes it's like an emotional, like really touching "Love You Jesus" song, which we do, and then it's like. So next Tuesday at the
we're doing the canned food drive. Can you bring a can?
So what I learned is do my homework, and you'll put it on the we have an app where it loads it up on there, and I'll listen to the song that way I know to come in how to come in. If it's a slow song, I'll come in with
he knows if he needs to bring the handkerchief.
Yeah, I'll come in with the line from the song, or I'll preach one line or two, and then I'll get into. I don't just like hit them with next Thursday we need y'all to come up here. So
what's been going on in your world, dude? Can I comment on your attire here?
Oh yeah,
for those who can't see,
what we got?
Okay, we're in the heart of Stars playoff. We're actually recording this episode.
Playoffs.
We're gonna start Game 3 of the Stars series late.
You kidding me?
We're gonna avoid texts from Gerald and Pastor Jess.
Yes,
because they're all into it. Yeah, he's got the Stars, the winner right now in the city hat on, but. He's equal opportunity.
Yeah, representing the Mavericks.
Representing the loser in the community also. With our Mavericks, they're out of the playoffs, but that's okay.
Mark Cuban got fined what, $750?
If he's a billionaire, that's
$750 million.
There's
right?
pocket lint he has that's worth that.
He's like, oh wait a minute, I got that in my car. Hold on.
I mean, if you get a good draft pick and all you had to pay was $750K.
Right. He's like, man, I spent that this morning before I woke up.
Yeah, that's like a latte and a half.
Yeah. So they tanked. I feel.
But how are you feeling? Are you into the Stars thing? Are you fully hockey-fied?
I don't go full Stars hockey the whole year. I mean, I pay attention to them. I don't completely ignore them. I'll watch a highlight or two there, and I make sure. But then when it comes to hockey, there's nothing like playoff hockey, man. Even if I was watching a Colorado. Who are they playing? I don't know, Tampa Bay, or I don't know who they're playing.
Yeah, it's one of those sports that it lends itself toward like sudden death.
Oh man,
just intensity, and like you can't just. It's hard to like game 1 of 82 or whatever, like to care that much in the middle of October or something. But yeah, like now,
I've been all in, and it's one of those kind of sports. It's like, oh, no, what's going on?
And then someone will cheap shot your guy, like happened in the series.
It happened in the first game, and
then the whole rest of the series, you get this like awesome sports hate for that one guy.
Yeah.
And like every time he touches the puck, everybody's like, "Die, you're terrible."
Yeah.
Curse your whole family.
Right. And then game 2 is like
it's sports hate, not real hate. So I think Jesus is okay.
Yeah.
Hate.
I was washing washing dishes literally, and it was like goal. Oh, they scored a goal. The Minnesota. I was washing the same dish. They scored a goal again, like in 9 seconds. I was like, what is going on? I stopped doing dishes. I started watching the game and it was like, then the Stars scored 2 goals like in 39 seconds.
And then recently we had the Cliftons over to our house for
speaking
some
of dishes.
awesome Mexican food. Yeah, speaking of dishing, man. And then my wife she like leaves him like 18 pounds of food to take home.
Man, she can throw down in the kitchen. So I don't know how you don't weigh 250.
Yeah, it's a struggle. Struggle keeping my pants.
She secretly she sneaks in those plates, and next thing you know, you're like, oh, what's this, and this, another piece of meat, and this chicken, and the rice, and over here, and this.
The great thing about marrying a Mexican is you get access to awesome refried beans, great Mexican rice.
Dude, it's hard to make that rice like she makes. I've tried to make that rice. I can't make it.
I've seen white people try it. I've seen it.
Exactly.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, thanks for that. And then the to-go basket's always good for me because I'm always about the value. I'm just kidding.
I got 4 meals for the price of nothing.
So awesome. I literally ate 2 over here. I ate another one when I got home before I went to bed. I woke up, I ate one. I think I might have ate one in my sleep. They were so good. Yeah, so thanks for that. Yeah, and if that fellowship, you got a fellowship with your brother, man. Swallowship is what we call it. Our church.
We call it swallowship. Who coined that? Was that?
That's Amon.
Amon coined that?
Yeah. It's when we had the meet over there at the cafe after church. You know,
you can have fellowship, and that's cool. But when you add food, it becomes swallowship, and that's
Amon. That's what I love about Amon, man. He makes up words like that, and then he owns them.
Yeah.
And he's got such a good sense of humor for us to banter back and with him. And he doesn't. I love that man.
Yeah, he's got a sense
we love
of humor,
Amon.
man.
Yeah, we love. One day that would be the guest. That'd be the guest.
We got to figure out how to do it with this schedule. But
that would be the guest. Yeah.
Other stuff that's been going on with me.
What's going on? What's going on?
I have a daughter that's of driving age, of learning to drive. So we've been going out. She went to the classroom school. We've been going out and doing I've been practicing driving with her. And let me tell you, you know how cars have the holy crap bar, it's up here,
Yeah. Have you ever gotten in a car and they don't have one? You're like, stop! I'm getting out of this car.
I don't mean to grab it, but pretty much the whole time she's driving. Not that she's that bad, but the whole time I'm just locked in on that thing. And this last time we rode, I actually put the hand down. It's I came off the holy crap bar.
Yeah.
And I just trusted in the Lord. I had faith in the Lord.
Mustard seed.
But she's getting better. I mean, we practiced driving at night for the first time. She's getting better at going through stoplights. She's not really keen on the 3-lane, 40, 45 mile an hour road kind of yet, but we're getting there. But it's cool. I have the sticker things I borrowed from someone at church with the student driver. I put it all around. Let everybody know. But it's cool. It'll be cool when she crosses that hump and gets confidence, and then she's gonna become mom's errand girl.
I can't wait.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
honey, go. It's because right now I'm the errand boy. If we're missing something from the store, it's Chris, go get we're missing that one ingredient. And now it'll be like, hey, you want to drive?
Hey, you got that license?
To the store, flex.
I've just been also being a fat boy like I am. It's also many times I thought, man, if my daughter had a driver's license, I would tell her to go get me a milkshake at Browns.
It's like your personal DoorDash. You're just looking. Steve just wants a personal DoorDash.
I'm saving the $4.95 fee, man. I want my daughter to go get me food everywhere. Hey, I've been getting food for her for 14 years. It can flip.
That's true. Hey,
it can flip. Yeah.
Payback, man.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting, because it is. I thought about this whenever we was over here. It's you gotta try to put them in situations. If it starts sprinkling, let's go drive.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to. No, you need to learn to. What are you gonna do if you're in the middle of the highway coming home?
And that's what she's talking about. I don't really want to drive tonight.
Yeah.
But you know what she got experience with is people's high beams in her face.
Yeah.
That's what she got experience with. And then okay,
Yeah.
She got experience with people driving too slow and having to pass people, and now the blinker's been tricky because it's when I say right or when I say left blinker, she'll go right blinker and vice versa. Her right and left isn't super solid. I don't know what happened with the young generation, but back in my day we knew our right from left. So that's a little struggle, but it's okay. We're getting there.
Oh man. Maybe you had to to swipe left, swipe right. Maybe.
Now the funnest thing is when they try to go for the
swiping. Maybe
the funnest thing is when they try to go for the blinker, but they accidentally go for the windshield wiper one. And turn on the blinker. That's awesome.
I still do that.
It's pretty fun.
You're gonna turn left and it's oh wait a minute, I was trying to
Then you have to fake out pretend you're watching the window. Just get the fluid. Yeah, I was just watching the window.
I meant to do that. Yeah, it's raining.
They're your window's perfectly clear.
It's raining outside. Why are you squirting?
There's no bird crap on your window.
You're good, man. Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's because so long ago I learned to drive, and I also learned to drive a different way. I was more of an 80s kid where it's can I get in that car and drive down the street? Yeah, go ahead. And I was just taught myself how to drive in the middle of nowhere. That's probably why I don't drive as good.
Yeah.
Are you getting that?
Yeah.
Are we together?
Yeah, are we together? Yeah.
There might be a litter of dead bodies in some city in Texas we don't know about.
It's middle of nowhere. My mom had a car, and they were and then my redneck uncle lived down the street there, and they said, hey, can we drive down there? And they let us teenagers get in the car because I grew up around go-karts and in four-wheelers. Man, by the time a car came around, I'm like, okay, it's just a bigger thing I've already been doing for like since I was 8.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that big of a deal to me because I was already driving four-wheelers and go-karts and stuff. So it was just like it just fit natural to me. So she would let us drive her car, maybe down here, down the block. And then when she felt comfortable, then it was a free game. So by the time I went around to the training class, the guy was like, man, you already know how to drive. I was like, yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, no, it is definitely different. There are people that grew up in the country and they could ride around the sticks, and there's very little risk. So
yeah,
but man, we'll see. We're getting there. We're working at it. She's working hard. She's a good kid overall.
Welcome to the 10th episode. We made it to 10.
Exactly, we did
of the show. It's a celebration. I'm pumped up tonight, man.
He's pumped. I'm pretty pumped up. You know why I'm pumped up?
Why?
I'm coming down from like a spiritual high.
Oh, this happens to me. This is.
I haven't even had much food today.
Getting into it quick here on the 10th episode. I like this. Hold on.
I had breakfast. No lunch officially. A Red Bull and like a granola bar.
That Daniel fasting and training, son.
It was accidental. Like I do a lot of accidental fasting.
Yeah.
But so we went. Me and my buddy Steven.
Not me.
He's a great drummer, but what I really like about him for these things is he's an even better preacher. So we've been going down. This is maybe our 3rd or 4th time to this particular homeless shelter place that has guys in, and first of all, it's just intimidating. I might have talked a little bit about this before, but it's still very intimidating. And we both go down there and we got just butterflies in our stomach because it's like you just go in there and it's like there's a lot of guys. I mean, like packed in a giant gym room.
Man, how many? Like if you had to guess,
I'm saying like 250.
Whoa, 250?
Like it's definitely
You did 250 on that gig. I say gig. I mean, you did 250 on that tonight. That's a lot.
And it's like, and they're all like in there waiting for you. So you're walking in, just carrying an amp and guitar and kind of like.
That's a totally different feeling than church.
It's not like church. A normal church service. You're there way ahead of the congregation.
Yeah. You
have plenty of time to rehearse, get warmed up, to kind of like whatever. You're like already at this level when everybody comes in at the lower level, and you're trying to catch them up to where you're at.
Man.
And this kind of thing, it's like
good point.
They're just there, kind of waiting, and
kind of like a concert.
Yeah, but it's weird because you're reading the room and there's a lot of like variety, right? There's some guys that are into it. There's some guys that are totally indifferent. They're probably just in a room because it's a warm room and it's a shelter and whatever, or a cool room or whatever. And so you've got like a whole spectrum of like.
It's a weird energy mix.
Yeah, it's not like a church service where everybody's there for a purpose for sure and they're all into it, So there's, kind of like leading them to youth in a similar way. Some of them are there just because their parents dropped them off and they don't really care. And, and that's a harder because you're trying to generate energy and you're trying to generate something. But so we go in there. So today, like a different thing happened. Like the enemy tried to like totally mess with us, as he will do when something starts getting better and starts making progress spiritually speaking. The enemy kind of swoops in. So we left a good hour early, got caught in this bad traffic jam on 35, man. And so we're just looking at the clock like we're supposed to start at 7, which means set up a little few minutes early. We're looking at the clock, it's like 6:57. We're still like 10 minutes away or longer. So we ended up actually getting in there like at 12 after. I was worried they weren't even going to let us in.
Oh no!
But they were like, yeah, you can go ahead and go in there. So we go in there. In a weird way, it kind of worked out cool because I had very little time to get to be nervous. It's like I just had to like go in and set up and go.
Man.
And all I really had to do, I dropped one of my 4 songs that I did, but like that's cool. Like the songs that I did, seemed to have decent impact, and then then his message, and then at the end we did the songs I did Holy Water, which is kind of a fun one I hadn't done forever.
I love that song.
And then we did Fear is a Liar by Zach Williams. I did that one.
Zach Williams is amazing.
Which that was cool, like singing that over them, because a lot of them have heard those exact things in that song, and so that was powerful. And then he had the message on, it was something about Job and about like, do we live after death? Kind of got into that, and then the song out of that I ended with is this new song I'm in love with, and we're gonna have a feature Mount Rushmore of songs that touched us spiritually and emotionally and all that.
Radio tease.
But I did, forward tease.
Forward tease.
But I did a new song by Phil Wickham, Worthy of My Song, and dude, like, and I got emotional. Like, and I wonder if I'm gonna get emotional tomorrow.
Oh man.
Because there's a part in the middle of the song where he talks about like, he's basically praising God even when times are bad.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the song, it talks about like, when you're at the hospital bed, when I assume like a wife or a mother barely can lift their head, and I mean, you get this like end of life perspective of somebody dying. My wife visits people in hospice, right? Like, so there's so many people that see the last days of someone struggling with cancer, whatever, whatever. Like, and you're in that moment, and it's like to sit there and just tearfully eyed say, even in that moment, God, you're worthy of my praise. Like, you're worthy of my worship. Like, and that's just powerful. There's something about like worshiping when all of like human reason says you shouldn't, and all of like natural human, generally speaking, as humans, we only praise God when things are good for us. We only praise God when, when we scratch that winning lottery ticket, when we, when we can pay all our bills, when we, can do fun stuff with the family. Like, that's when we're. I'd like to say we're thanking God. Actually, honestly, we honestly ignore Him a lot of times in those times. But man, like if you can do it when your heart's broken, man, if you can do it when you're at the bottom, I think that's why it just touches me, because I feel like everybody's had a moment like that. Everybody's had a moment, and then it's like I could barely sing it because I was like I was getting choked up a little bit, but I got through it, and it's like I love songs like that just like. You just have to surrender your heart, to it. You just have to, because I'm a pretty logical, analytical person by nature. Well, it's weird. I'm both kind of like.
You're a mixture.
Like, I think oftentimes on my day-to-day basis, I'm very logical and analytical and all that stuff, and that was my job as a programmer and that kind of stuff. Yeah. But like, the cool thing is like God can totally break through that and like soften my heart of stone, and like, so he can get me in the feels, I feel like it's easier for you to get in the feels because it's like I feel like you come from that spot already.
Oh yeah, I get in the feels.
So I'm just trying to like catch up to where you're at with that stuff. But
I get in the feels whenever it becomes about Jesus, and then anything to do with my family. And if you mix the two, and what you see in the Bible sometimes or whatever you hear in some of those songs too, man, you get the feels. It's hard to me sometimes at church, whenever I got the microphone and I'm up there and I'm about to do an announcement, and I feel that feel because Jesse gives me the free range to express it. If I feel something, fill the room, and if I feel like I should go right into it, I can say something about that. And then whenever I do that, man, it's like sometimes I don't even know what I'm saying. It just comes out.
Holy Spirit speaks.
Yeah, it just comes out, and I learned that in my prayer game that I've been working on. That's another tease.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
And I guess the last thing I'll say on this is like, I kind of feel like we're making, and it's cool because sometimes, like I said, when you go in, kind of a neutral reaction or whatever. Yeah. But it's like almost always afterwards, people are really thankful, and and then a guy even mentioned today, he's like, man, you guys together, like a really good pairing, like, because like he's got fired up preaching, you got fired up passionate worship, and it's like, it was a good pairing. And I think I've noticed with these kind of places and these kind of situations, it's like, it takes a while to gain people's trust, right? Like, they want to know that you're going to keep coming back. They want to know that, like, because there's plenty of people that just go to a place like that and, like, they want to get their quick photo op and they want to scratch their, their gold star of, okay, I went and ministered to the homeless.
Another guy's here. Here's another one.
Yeah,
Here's another one.
And I just feel like when you show up enough times, those guys start remembering your face and start being like, hey, you know what? These guys, like, they actually do care. They're here for a reason. And so, like, I think we're slowly working toward that at this place. It'll still take a handful of times, but I think that's a cool spot to be at.
Musically, is it you just got an acoustic? What are you rolling with?
Yeah, man. I just I bring in. Here's what's cool. So my buddy, shout out to Chris Wisman. What's up?
What about Chris? Chris.
He just gave me this. He gave me an acoustic guitar amp. He's like, it was my uncle's. I have a different one. Whatever, take it. And at that time, I didn't even play acoustic that much. When he gave it to me, I was like, yeah, that's cool, but I don't know if I'm gonna use it. And then like it's kind of become the perfect little thing for this place, like because it's quick setup. I can plug my mic into it. I don't have to plug another PA or anything. I mean, just plug my guitar. I just need a power plug, and I go, and that thing ministers. So it's like it's kind of cool. Like God laid this piece of equipment to me that that I didn't even know at the time what the purpose was gonna be. Yep. And there's so many times in my life where God's done that with gear. Like, I know it feels weird to talk spiritual about gear, but like, I think God absolutely can bless gear and equipment and technology, for you to minister
for His word.
And sometimes you have no clue when you get it. Like, something just tells you, I'm supposed to get this. Don't fully know why. but I'm gonna go for it. And
I've been telling you, if you ever get a gong or a bok, or if you need, I can play some chimes.
You're saying you can find a use for a gong?
If we had a gong, I'm in. If we have a gong, I got tryouts ready. I'm in. I know where all the spots to put gongs in. Timpani, I'm in.
By the way, if you hear a dog whining, it's my little dog in the crate. I promise we don't abuse animals here.
No.
She lives in like great freedom almost all the time.
What it really is she loves the CWA podcast and she wants to be over here. And
she wants to be over there like starting a mosh pit.
Yeah.
It's like
she's like, it's the 10th anniversary, guys. Let's celebrate.
What are you crowd control?
Come on. What are you doing putting me over here? I'm locked up. Why?
So man, it's springtime. You know what springtime means, buddy?
Oh no, what?
As a man, okay, pop quiz question.
Here we go.
If you're a man, in a marriage, and you own a house, and spring comes, what does that mean you're going to spend some time doing?
Yard work,
man. I know.
Yard work,
all the guys just like totally wilted.
They turn the channel. He doesn't know what he's talking about, honey.
Oh, we thought this podcast sucked. This is evidence. They're talking about yard work.
I thought they were talking about Jesus. Yeah, no, but you start feeling the effects of it like before it happens. You're like, oh, one more month and I'm gonna have to start going out there.
And it sucks. At first the weeds start growing fast. And then you're like, okay, cool. The grass hadn't caught up. Then you gotta treat the yard. You gotta start thinking too far ahead. And every year it's always like, I'm gonna start in February and become this awesome green thumb. My yard will be in perfect, ready to condition by like May. And
right. Who does that?
And then that never happens. But this time of year, it's at least tolerable. You can be out there.
It's not quite there
70 degrees or something.
Texas in July.
You can throw out a cool podcast, some CWA in your ears. You're trimming some trees. Trimming some bushes. But I used to really struggle with it, especially the later it got in the year, Now, I won't lie. I know it's a Christian podcast, but my beer intake goes a little bit up in the yard work season. Just because, I don't know, man, you're out there and just a cold beer kind of pairs well with it. So, I will disclose that. But, like, for a while there, I used to fight it, especially, in Texas, you get to, like, July. July and August are thrashing. In fact, okay, do you admit this also?
What's that?
Are there points in time by July where you're almost praying for your grass to die?
Oh, yeah.
Like you're just like, just all go brown. Dude, just all go brown. Just stop growing.
We're
done for the year. We're done. Cool. Like
I fed you, I watered you. Can you give me this one thing? Yeah, I'm done with you.
Because I have no neighborhood ego. Like I don't have to be.
Oh, me either.
There's a guy down my street.
Oh, yeah.
Lord bless him. We call him Aquaman. That's our nickname for him. And the reason is, from like March till whenever it ends, August, September.
Oh, he waters it.
He's out there just working it and watering it and working it and watering it and working it. And I'm like,
my father-in-law's that way.
Look, that's awesome when people have that hobby. And like, man, it's cool. Like you're tending something. There is something spiritual about like taking what you've been given stewardship over and making it better. And I'm all cool with that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like I don't naturally have that in me. So I have to really manufacture. And several years back, dude, like and I don't know if you've done this yet, but the way I kind of got around hating yard work as much is I decided to use it as time alone with God. I basically said, instead of like just telling myself ahead of time, this is going to be a beating, this is going to be a thrashing, I'd be like, you know what? I get alone time with God.
We've actually done this.
I'm not going to have interruptions. There's not going to be a show.
I've actually done
The wife can't talk to me. The kids can't talk to me. Whatever.
I've gone out there and talked to him while mowing.
And I've even had moments where like I have this I think I might have mentioned this before, but who cares?
Yeah.
We got new listeners all the time.
It's the 10th episode.
10th episode. Welcome to the party. But I've been out there before and like, I feel like God communicates to me sometimes through like a white butterfly. Like,
oh yeah.
Because I'll be out there, like it'll be like the worst time of the year, total thrashing, a billion degrees. I got my crazy like Mexican giant. What are the big hats called? I think I totally sombrero on. I got my big sombrero.
You're out there with the big sombrero.
Clowning.
Oh yeah, you wear the sombrero. That's right.
And I'm out there and then all of a sudden it's like it'll be in this brutal environment, and then here comes this little white butterfly, and I'm like, hey God, thanks for reminding me that you're there. Thanks for reminding me that people have it a trillion times worse than me.
Dude, if we ever get a merch department going, talk to God while mowing. I'm in. Yeah, because I've done the same thing. I've done the same thing before. I've gone out there and like taken that opportunity while mowing to talk to God or listen to, or pray or whatever. And all of a sudden it's like, you know what? Thank you for this house. Thank you for this yard. Thank you for those bushes.
Yeah, right.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to go to work every day and come home. That I have the opportunity to pay for that gasoline and that lawnmower. So yeah, it does. If you talk to God while mowing, it will flip how you feel about mowing. Now, on the flip side, I have used this line before. My wife's like, I think it's time to mow, and I'm like, well, Jesus never really had his own yard, so. I'd
rather preach the gospel, honey. I mean, you can go work on the yard, Martha, but I'm going to be Mary at Jesus' feet, and I'm going to be...
Yeah, and I think Jesus did have a yard. I think, I don't know, maybe Simon and maybe, I don't know, Matthew, maybe he might...
Maybe that's why the Son of Man had no place to lay his head, because he knew there would be yard work involved, and he's like, I'm not doing that.
I got a couple of yard work speed round for you. You kind of answered a couple of these, but I thought about these today. So one of them was... mow, and I kind of know this, but I think maybe listeners out there might not already know. So mow your own yard, mow your own yard, or pay somebody. You're obviously mowing your own over here.
Yeah, for me it was a decision. I have a house with a small pool.
Yeah, it's like which one?
And I can't afford to do both.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I tried the pool thing on my own for a bit. That didn't go so well.
No, you're not a scientist. You're a programmer.
Exactly. So yeah, now I'm like, and I'm still able-bodied. Now, but I definitely see a day in the future,
where you could do both.
Where I'd probably pay somebody, and that's cool. You're supporting the economy either way if you do it. So I don't look down on anyone that does pay somebody. Like, hey, cool,
Yeah, I don't either, because
people need work.
Depending on your lifestyle, what you got going, there's a lot of people that are not able to do that. And thank God that they're able to pay somebody to come over there in the economy, right? And those guys, they make a killing. They work hard. You don't even want to mow your own yard. You're out there like having to talk to God. This guy done mowed 7 yards before he got to yours.
Hey, my stepbrother, he does landscaping. He's in Florida, man. Yeah,
it's crazy. Okay, so I think you kind of answered this one. Enjoy it or a beating, because I've always thought of it as a beating, but I have friends that like, oh my, that's the best day of the week. I can go outside and my wife doesn't talk to me for 6 hours, and I can ignore her, and I can drink beer, and I can.
Some guys call that golf, but guys do
and I have a couple of friends, yard of the month guys. I have one friend, he's bought so much fertilizer that every time he goes to the airport, they're like, come over here. That's how, he's 1 yard of the month. He's done the Ranger thing logo on there, and I'm like, yeah, man, I haven't mowed mine like in a month.
Yeah, I'd say naturally it's more of a beating, but again, I have to make it.
I think I kind of know the answer to this one, and you probably know that I answered that. Well, I'm going to answer it. Are you a music or a silence guy?
I'm pretty much, I'm usually music guy. I
think pretty much everybody's music guy. If you see somebody out there mowing the yard and they don't have headphones on, I don't know what's going on.
You got to go earbuds, and there's got to be able to get a good enough seal and loud enough, because the mowing is the loud part.
Yeah, you got to adjust your volume.
If I'm going to go silence, it's going to be during the mow, but during the edging, oh, absolutely. I'm straight music. I make a playlist. Occasionally I'll do podcasts or something. But.
Do you got to mow? I've tried to do podcasts while mowing, and it just doesn't fit. Even I've listened to ours.
Now I've done book on tape,
comedy.
like fiction book on tape. I can do that while doing yard work.
Yeah,
because that kind of just totally keeps your mind 1,000 miles away in some stories.
I'm usually stand up, go figure, or maybe something hard like Metallica or something hard to mow too.
Yeah, you gotta get some energy.
You can't be out there mowing to Barry Manilow or something. Yeah, you go out there mowing to anything soft. You gotta go. So okay. You kind of answer that clothes. What's your style? You go hat. You go sombrero hat, shorts. I see people out there that got wearing different outfits when they're mowing in my neighborhood, and I've always thought, man, why are you wearing that? What are you wearing over there mowing? Why are you wearing that? Why?
You're a comedic guy. I think you need to mix in some kind of something to make your neighbors laugh.
Yeah,
because that was half my goal with the sombrero was. Obviously, I got a lot of sun, bald head. I'm trying to block sun, so there's a practical part of it.
Yeah.
But then I just thought it'd be funny. Here's this white guy out there wearing a giant sombrero mowing. So
maybe I should wear that fro that I wore to the Halloween thing that one year. I do need to mix in a mowing bit. You need a bit. I need a mowing bit. You're right.
Or get one of those giant. You seen the guy with the giant helmet at the Cowboys game? It looks like some kind of something out of. The Star Wars spoof, Spaceballs or something.
Spaceballs or something like that. Yeah.
You need a Spaceballs helmet out there.
What if I got a big helmet but the helmet's just my face? I don't know. So I do need a bit. I need to work on a bit. And the last question I got there is, Are you a get up early guy and go mow, or are you like, I'm gonna wait till like right down sundown?
I've never been a get up early and do much of anything guy in my life.
Me either.
So, like
The same way.
maybe that I'm reserving for my 70s to do all that.
I'm the same way.
I've,
I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't even want to like eat breakfast yet. Let's mow. I'll wait till right before it's like dark, and that way maybe I can get it. I do need to get a bit though. Yeah. So
now speaking of yard stuff, I had to cut down a tree.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the front. The city made us cut it down finally. We've fought them for years, and they finally made us cut it down. This tree has created a bike ramp on my property.
it's awesome looking.
And I've encouraged the neighborhood kids to
Being encouraged.
Yeah, exactly. I just said, hey,
Did you get that?
you need to go get on the bike ramp.
Are we together?
Go jump that bad boy. But yeah, because it brought back a lot of memories. So,
Oh man, come on.
so that made me think of like bike stuff. We come from a different generation, different era.
Oh man, we do.
Nowadays kids, stay inside and everything's virtual and
Everything is virtual, man.
they might be they might be like your sim, just doing all sorts of stuff in sim life. But
I still need to get to that.
But how much? What was your heyday of riding bikes? Like age wise and grade wise, or whatever.
Honestly, I was born in the late '70s, so my heyday was the '80s. So man, as soon as I could walk, I remember the first bike when I was like 5. 6 years old, I getting my first bike, and I also remember my uncle teaching me how to ride it. It went something like this: "You don't know how to ride that? No, you're about to learn today. How? Get on there, boy. Push me, fall down. Oh, that hurt? It did. Yeah. Get back up. Okay, get back up on there. Ride it again. It hurt again. I guess you'll learn to not hurt." And then eventually, by the time my arms are all chafed up, I'm like, I love riding this thing. I can go wherever I want.
Yeah. I think, man, you just nailed the reason why kids back then loved bikes. Because, again, for you younger kids.
And I'm not hating on my Uncle Craig. I love that, man. That's a tough lesson to teach, but that's how they taught us back then.
But I mean, we were bored inside.
Yeah.
I mean, a bike was freedom, man. It was
oh man, you can get out of here and you can go down to your friend's house. You can go with your friends.
Yeah, go to their house. You can all get together and go to new places, explore new parts of the city you never know about.
They got waffles down there.
Yeah. I mean, we were riding some pretty not the best neighborhoods back in the day. We used to live down in kind of North Dallas, Richardson border, over there by Coit Road and Spring Valley-ish area.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd ride all over there, which nowadays, if I had a kid there,
there's no way.
I'd be you ain't riding this neighborhood, dude.
No.
There's shiesty stuff all over the place.
Even in my good neighborhood, I've even sometimes thought, man, I don't know about that.
Back then, I'm sure there were obviously shiesty things going on because we still have cold case murder cases and stuff, but it's you just didn't hear about them. You didn't have all the media, so it's kids just went out and they rode till near dark.
And your bike was everything, man.
And you didn't have no cell phone. Mom couldn't call you.
No.
You had to pretty much navigate based on the sun. I mean, we were like cavemen. It's getting close to sunset. That means dinner's ready. Mom's gonna be mad if I don't get home in time. And then
you knew all your shortkuts because this will get us home quicker. You always had that one friend that's oh, watch this. This will get us home quicker. He knows. You'd follow your friend or whatever. These woods and stuff that you shouldn't, and run over stuff you shouldn't. And then I don't know, but it was everything. Were you the one of the guy that kind of got put the Coke can on the wheel? You smashed the Coke can and put it on there, make it sound like a motorcycle. Did you do that?
I think we did that. We did baseball card.
Baseball card. We did that bit too. Can I make it sound like a motorcycle kind of type thing?
Now, I don't know if you were ever. I was never really good at tricks because we were in the era. We were in the era of BMX and rad.
Oh,
and in the middle of the '80s, there was kind of a big BMX kick.
Huge.
Obviously, I know neither one of us could afford the nice mongoose bike that you really wanted.
Have we talked about this in the podcast before?
I feel like we mentioned mongoose and Huffy's and all that. We were in Huffy land.
Yeah, I was more of the whatever you could get at Walmart, but I loved my bike. I didn't care what it was. I loved it, dude.
But I was not good at tricks.
No.
And I wasn't even great at jumping, and I think I racked myself. Speaking of that, here's a physics question. Why do guys' bikes have the bar up higher where he can more easily rack himself, and the girls' bikes have the bar lower where he wouldn't rack himself as much?
It's totally
somebody
backwards.
Explain that to me.
I've always thought that. It's why is a guy bike that way? Because that hurts, and then if it's this way, you have more time to catch yourself. And then I'm not saying it's going to hurt the female the other way, but trust me, it's not gonna hurt as bad as the guy. Trust me. I always thought that too, and then it would always be weird, like whenever you like your bike would get so worn out, you'd have to you'd lose that pad. You'd had that pad on there forever. And you had that comfort that if you fall off, you can land on the pad, and that pad wears out. You're like, I'm going commando on the on the pad here. Gotta make sure I don't hit no rocks. So, but I actually broke my kneecap riding a bicycle. I was Mr. I could do okay. I'm uncoordinated as can be. Go figure. And I could pull a wheelie off. And I was pulling a wheelie, and I was trying to go 4 houses. This is before we had internet and video games. I was trying to go do a wheelie 4 houses. That was our block record. And about 3 houses in, I had a rocket. And I broke my kneecap on my bike.
That's crazy. I never broke a bone. I wrecked myself plenty of times and scratched myself the holy head.
And then I think one of the best days of my life, I still remember this top 10 days of my life. I had an uncle. A different uncle. I had a lot of good uncles.
That's a great day of your life when you had an uncle.
I had a lot of good uncles. I had his uncle, and he bought us for Christmas, me and my brother, one of those awesome, expensive Mongoose trick bikes. Whoa. And it had the handlebars, and you could spin the handlebar without the brake getting caught.
I'll never know until I get to heaven. I'll never know what that's like.
It was magical, dude. I was almost crying out. I'm sorry. It had like the little bunny hooks. I've never had the closest thing I had to bunny hooks was like maybe. Oh, there's one. Maybe if we could
we'll figure out this microphone. Take one of these.
Maybe if we could put something on my bike here and hold my brother. It had it was legit bicycle. It was like heaven, and I loved it. I washed it every day.
I'm sure you had it for years, and it was totally safe.
This guy, I had it for like a week, and we lived in an apartment complex, and in a neighborhood like you're in a bad neighborhood. And I don't know. We lived in a neighborhood in Garland.
I got 3 bikes stolen, possibly in the same complex.
Did you? Oh man!
I didn't even know how that's possible because you're like, I'm seeing the same people. Like, what, like, how are they shipping these bikes to some faraway black market that fast? Like,
they stole them.
You know,
they stole them, and I so felt like Pee-wee from Pee-wee's Big Adventure when he's gonna remember when he got his bike stolen, the change of lane there, and he's like, That's exactly how I felt because I love that bike.
But at least in my case, they were like, I was losing Huffies. You lost a Mongoose, like. I would have gone into a 2-year depression.
Yeah,
man. Like,
I had it a week.
Dude.
I had it a week. I didn't even have it enough time to bust it in.
Do you ever think the trajectory of your life, how different it would have been if you had kept that Mongoose for, let's say, 2 years and you practiced all the tricks?
Oh, man.
You might have had a magazine deal. You might have been on, like, Rad.
I could have had my own video game.
Yeah.
Like, I could have been like the...
you could have been the Tony Hawk.
I could have been the Tony Hawk.
Could have been. You know?
It changed my life that day when they stole that bike. I could have been on anyway.
But here's what's great news, CWA listeners.
What's that?
Because he became such a normal failure in life like the rest of us, he found Jesus.
I did.
He was a broken man.
Would you like to hear how?
Jesus. What?
What?
We get your testimony?
Yeah, I'm going to testify.
Testify.
I can't sing like Chris.
I would love to hear that. You just ignore my wife calling over and over. Does she not know? Does she not know what we do around here?
Do you need to stop and get that?
Are we together?
Oh man, testify. This is my testimony. Oh, I got music Tourette's. I just sing in random songs all the time. There,
he does.
I like that you. This music fits my testimony perfectly. Honestly, if you know my personality. Which if y'all are on 10 episodes in, I hope you are. But anyways, I didn't go to church a lot growing up. At all, hardly. I actually think, Chris, whenever I did go to church, it was like, oh man, I gotta wake up early and go there tomorrow. Ugh. Honestly, it was. It's like, it was one of those, if you stay the night at our house this weekend, you have to go to church tomorrow. And I was like, man, I gotta go to church tomorrow. It was one of those situations. It's one of those situations. And then, I go to youth a couple of times with some cousins. I'm so Texas tonight. I'm cousining it up, uncling it. I'm giving tributes to cousins and uncles. Sounds like an oven's ready. Everything sounds like food to me. Anyways, back to your testimony, Steve. Concentrate. Anyways, yeah. So, and then fast forward to, I went to youth a couple of times with my cousins, and then nothing really stuck. And then as a young adult, I didn't, we did young adult stuff, concerts and drinking and, the usual stuff you do, drugs and stuff like that. I wasn't really hardcore, but, I tried, I partied, in other words, but I wasn't really never hardcore into anything. But I just was more of kind of a reserved, kind of like, y'all can do that thing. I'll kind of like watch out for y'all. I'll try it every once in a while to let you know that I'm in the group, but I don't really care for any of it kind of person. Still nothing biblical. And then like, honestly, it didn't really even hit me. I'm 45 years old, honestly, Chris. It didn't really hit me until like a couple of weeks ago. 3 or 4 years ago. And I remember specifically where I was at. I was at my house and my temper grew up and I said a couple of things I shouldn't say out loud. And I stopped myself and I said, you know what? I need to get Jesus in my life. I said that. I don't even remember saying that. I'm like, what? Where'd that come from? And then I just started getting interested in like the story part of it. And that's honestly I started Googling it. The whole beginning and the beginning. And I read a little bit of the Bible. And then nothing really stick. And then.
And I'm just imagining.
Yeah. Fast forward. My wife's one of her good friends. We went and stayed the night with them, and it was kind of the same thing. But you got to go to church tomorrow. And I'm like, man, really? I don't know if I want to get up early. And we stayed up really late and played adult party games and stuff, and went to church. And I was blown away how awesome it was. I loved it. It was amazing. It was like, oh man! I told my wife, if you can find something like this, but maybe a little smaller version, because it was a bigger church like this, like. The way we feel in here and the way what's going on in here, I could feel a little bit of the Holy Spirit. And I was like, I'll go to that. That's awesome. So we come back home. She starts watching Horizons online. Actually, Horizons and a couple of other ones we were watching. She was watching online, and then
she's scouting out, church scouting.
She was church scouting online because it was during COVID. Yeah, it was like right at the beginning of COVID.
That's all you could do.
Yeah, so she was kind of church scouting. And then we on Easter 2 years ago, we went at Horizons Church. We had the church service at this park, Bill Allen over here, where I've gone many times before, and I always thought, man, that's a place. That would be an awesome place to do like a stand-up or a concert or something there. And so that's where we had it. And man, from the dude, when I tell you that I felt the Holy Spirit from the parking lot. I did. It was really weird. I've never felt that feeling before. I didn't even know what it was. I felt really confused, and I didn't really know honestly, I didn't know what it was. So I felt it instantly. I could feel this guy just killing the bass guitar. I don't know who it was.
I wonder if that was probably it was Thomas's stepson.
Man, he was just Christian? I could hear him, and I pulled it up, and the drums and guitar. So I'm a big music guy. If you haven't listened to the first 10 episodes, and so musically it was in there, and I could just feel the Holy Spirit working in there. Which at the time I didn't know really understand what it was, but I definitely knew it was a different feeling I've never felt before. And just the message that day was great, and everything. And we were hooked, man. I felt something I've never felt before, and I didn't really know what it was. And then after just continually going and being with you guys and learning the word, and then just after a while I was like, I knew that's what it was, and then accepting Jesus in my heart in the service one day, and then getting baptized. That was a special day. I think the thing for me that most of the thing, if I can testify on the most, is I often say on the show and in real life, when did you become a believer? I think I've always been a believer. I didn't just didn't believe in Jesus before. Like whenever Bible stuff would come up, where I would go, or other people, it's everywhere. I'd never be like, that's not real. But I also wouldn't having in my heart and taking it on either. I was just kind of just kind of numb to it. But then once he takes over, man, he takes over. You can, and even in today's life, I feel him, and just little bitty things that happen to you. He'll send you a blessing. And then, to me personally, I've told Chris this before, and my personal life here, the enemy is always closer to me after a huge victory, after a good service, after somebody blesses you with something, after you do your service there, on your way to your service there. It feels like the enemy is always closer to me right after a victory, because he knows what he's up against now. Yeah. And he knows he's been in charge for the first 41, 42 years of my life, and he ain't in charge anymore. So it's like a spiritual warfare for sure over there. But yeah, I mean, I don't have, like I said, everybody has their own little testimony there. I mean, mine's not like, I was, in the gut or anything, but we've all been there. We all have our own battles, man. And,
I think what's cool about watching your path is that you, like I said, once you were like in, man. You're fully in.
That's yeah. That's how I usually.
You didn't like dip your toe in the water and then kind of walk away. I mean, not to say you've never fallen to sin or temptation after that. I mean, we're gonna continue that.
Yeah.
Till we meet him, But
right.
I just love how full on he's in. So if I remember losing faith for a minute, or I mean, even just being discouraged for a minute, then here's this guy just being super encouraging.
Thank you very much.
That's what I'm saying back to you. Is
I mean, I'm one of those all-in kind of guys, and it wasn't very hard with Jesus. It was instantly. Yeah, I mean, I try to explain it to people. I mean, all the time, and you guys have listened to 10 episodes of this, and all the people in my church know. I might not know all the stuff like everybody else does. I might not know the Bible as good as a Gerald or a, I might know, I feel all the, all the stuff. But to me, it really doesn't even matter. I got Jesus in my heart. It's like a relationship, and I got a relationship with Him. And I might not be able to talk all the good game like you guys do, but I feel like I can contribute. So.
Yeah, but you've been changed.
Yeah, I've been changed. Yeah.
I mean, being regenerated, is so much more important than knowledge.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people with knowledge that never get regenerated. Like, in fact, part of the message tonight that Stephen gave was about the thief on the cross beside Jesus.
Yeah.
He's like, this guy didn't go to seminary school. This guy didn't this guy didn't know a bunch of Christianese. This guy didn't all he knew was that I deserve the punishment I'm getting. This guy beside me, hanging beside me, did not deserve it. And I recognized that because of that, he is the Lord. Yeah. And I'm going to ask him if he will remember me and when he comes into his glory. Right. And that guy, from Jesus, directly from his mouth, gets, today you're going to be with me in paradise. He didn't get baptized. Yeah. He didn't go through any of the sacraments. Right. He didn't go through confirmation class. He didn't, I mean, that's what's cool. Is Jesus can just transform you without any prerequisites. Right. And you don't have to be clever, smart, educated,
whatever you're. He meets you where he knows where to get you to. He does.
Because at the end of the day, no matter who we are, there's probably thousands of people similar to us out there in the world. Yeah. So God's going to use Steve to find other Steve-like people. Yeah. And he'll reach them in a way that I can't reach them. Yeah. And I'll reach some people in a way that Steve could never reach them. True. And true that. That's what's cool. It's
that is what's cool. I mean, especially when you start reading the Bible, and you start hearing these gospel songs, Moses had stage fright. All the disciples had some kind of issue. I'm rough around the edges, and I fit right in with the disciples, man. I feel like I could go back right now and just talk to them, and I fit right in there. So.
Yeah, you're probably a lot like a lot of the jacked up people in the Bible.
Yeah, I am.
I'm full of jacked up people.
Yeah, and I'm still working on stuff as a human being. We all do, but there's a lot of stuff that in the past 2 years that I've gotten a whole lot better about, attitude wise and stress wise, and trying not to worry and putting stuff in God's hands and letting control, man. So that's my testimony. What's yours, man? We want to hear yours. Send us a message down there in the podcast, down there in the comments there.
Yeah. How did you find out about Jesus?
Yeah.
Or if yours is so cool, let us know and we'll have you as a guest.
Yeah, I'm in.
We're down for just wild testimonies.
This is episode 10 of at least 1,000, I'm hoping. Speaking of, before we get to that next topic, we switched beards from 2 episodes ago. It's took it off and just put it on.
Yeah, I was woolly caveman, Viking warlord.
Yeah, and, I'm working on it.
And he's kind of heading down that direction. I think he might have just pillaged the village before he got over here. I don't know. I think I see the blood of his enemies on him over there. Something's going on over there.
That's why I love this show, man. We flip so good.
You never know when we're gonna pillage the village. Could happen any day. Well, one fun segment we like to do before we totally dismount off this fun thing is we're fans of the Mount Rushmore. Mm-hmm. For those of you that have lived under a rock, that just means we pick some topic, and then we pick 4, our top 4 in that topic. Yeah. So I thought it would be fun this week to do. Don't be trying to cheat on my answers over here. I thought it'd be fun to do action movies. Okay.
It's a tough subject for me. Are you gonna go first or me?
And I even put a few caveats. I took some categories out. I took westerns out.
Yeah.
What else did I take out? Did I take some others out?
Yeah, you took westerns out. I think you might have took like sci-fi.
Yeah, I took sci-fi out because, you could say Star Wars is an action movie. It's hard to like Lord of the Rings. I took fantasy, sci-fi, and westerns out.
Yeah, that was it.
So this is pretty much just straight, just testosterone-ridden movies of just awesome action, whatever. So, you got 4? Are you ready?
I'm ready. If you want me to go first, I think I should.
Prepared.
I'm prepared. And the reason why I'm prepared, I'm one of those kind of guys that get prepared for stuff that I'm not really keen on. Like some of these segments, I can roll off the top of my head.
So you're less of a natural movie guy.
I'm not a movie guy, man. I'm
not now. Now, at the time when a lot of these movies came about, I was more then.
I was then,
but
yeah.
I'm definitely less so now.
I'm a less so now too, guys. So my list is going to probably be outdated. Some of y'all going to have to Google some of these.
Mine is for sure going to be outdated.
Okay, cool. Then I don't feel so bad. So, and I wonder if we have any of the same ones. Should you go honorable mentions first or the real ones?
I only got 4. I'll probably think of honorable mentions after the fact.
Maybe you probably got some of those. So number 4 is Heat. Action movie, right? Al Pacino, De Niro.
Okay. All right.
It's got Val Kilmer. Remember, it's like the cops versus the bad guys. They're doing like a kind of like heist mission thing there. Okay. Lots of like action scenes on there. Yeah, I sound like Arnold already. That's the one I remember. So Heat.
That's
a pretty good
mention?
one. No, these are my real ones.
Okay.
These are my top 4.
Okay.
I'll go mentions after. 4 is Heat. I'll do mentions after yours. That way it doesn't sound the same. 3, The Rock.
Okay. I like, so far, neither on my list.
Sean Connery. Anything with Sean Connery. First off, Sean Connery. My name's Sean Connery. Do I have a Sean Connery in my brain? CWA podcast, Sean Connery. I feel like he's always like Connery. Anyway, Sean Connery. Anything with Sean Connery and is great. Nicolas Cage is in that one. So it's a good both of them. You remember that one when he's a prisoner in that big prison and then
Yeah, I remember that.
Chaos breaks loose. Okay, 2. Is this an action movie? I IMDb'd it. Is that a big word?
Which one?
Face Off.
Oh yeah, I consider that action movie. In fact, when I was thinking of Nick Cage, I think of Face Off a lot quicker than
You got Travolta on there, man. Remember they switched faces?
Yeah.
And they switched families? How awkward. Right? Yeah, that was my 3rd one. And then my number 1 is this really old school. Mad Max and the Thunderdome. The original one with is that Mel Gibson? Tina Turner's in it.
Okay.
Do you remember that movie?
No, I totally remember that movie.
Late 70s, early 80s.
I mean, that gave me an idea for my honorable mention that probably should have been in my top 4, but whatever.
Yeah. I just remember watching that movie a lot as a kid and thinking, man, this is one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's got Tina Turner in it. She even has a song at the end in there. It's got the big Thunderdome thing. And it has
I remember the movie. I'm surprised that's the one you remember of the movies, but I remember the movie. So I'll get to that.
That's my top 4. My honorable mentions, The Last Boy Scout.
Okay.
Damon Wayans.
Okay.
You remember that? I think Bruce Willis was in that.
Yeah.
It's like the late 90s.
Yeah.
The cop, detective, sports, football agent movie. Is Con Air count as a...
Yeah, Con Air's action. Another Nick Cage.
I mean, he's in there, I guess. Yeah. Does Lethal Weapon count? That's more of a comedy, isn't it?
We'll see. We'll see on that one.
And then my last one I've got on my list here is Total Recall.
You can totally go there. I mean, heck, we didn't even get into it.
Is that? It's kind of like Honored is on the border. Is it the?
It's borderline sci-fi.
Is it sci-fi or is it the action movie?
It's kind of like Terminator. Could be borderline sci-fi. I don't know.
Yeah.
We didn't do Terminator.
I need to work on my Arnold too, by the way.
All right, so here's mine. First thing I thought of, Lethal Weapon. Just because, even though it had comedy, it was absolutely action. I mean, you had bombs going off. You got, fights. I mean, the fight scene at the end when Murdoch just goes insane and is just beating. It's like all the cops and everybody around them, and they just let them beat the tar out of each other. I mean, that was a very action movie.
Yeah, it's borderline though.
I think you think about it just because there's also good jokes.
There's a lot. It was real. Whoever did the comedy part, man, it was a lot of good jokes. I think that I agree with you that is an action movie. I agree with you.
Yeah,
and obviously if you did comedy, I would.
Even some of the Eddie Murphy movies, you could say, are in that same vein, Yeah. But his, I feel like, slide more to comedy than action.
Yeah, because he was a stand-up.
Lethal Weapon, yeah. Okay, so there's that one.
Yeah.
This one, I'll go ahead and mention this because you wear the shirt all the time, and it's more of a kid action movie. I'm throwing Karate Kid in, just because growing up, I mean, it had a lot of of action fights. And,
technically, it is an action
there's
fight.
bullying. There's actually big fight moments. The pinnacle of the movie. So
Yeah.
it was borderline, but it's like
Borderline
but I
action.
felt like as a kid, it was an action movie as a kid.
I think so too.
I don't know if it's a grown-up action movie, but I had to give it credit just for the age we were and all that.
So you're going with the first one? Which sidebar? Which one's your favorite one? The first one or the second one? Don't say the third one.
The first one's the only kind of legit one. The rest were like interesting, but not like authentic.
I love the second one. I think the second one was good. Future podcast topic. There you go.
Now, honestly, I could have swapped that, and I probably should have. I'll get to what I should have swapped that with once I heard one of yours, but okay, I had to throw in Roadhouse. Roadhouse, dude. Friggin' what's his name? Ripping necks out.
Oh, what's it?
Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze?
Patrick Swayze, Sam Elliott.
Dude.
Patrick Swayze in the scene of that movie kicks a dude's butt so hard, I think he
Yeah.
ripped his throat out. Like literally ripped it out, dude. Like
You're right.
if that doesn't make awesome action movie, I don't know what you're doing watching action movies.
You had me
ripping throats out.
You had me at Sam Elliott, dude.
Yeah,
One of the
dude.
best actors of all time.
mean-
no matter what he's in, Sam Elliott's amazing.
Yeah.
So-
and Swayze also had the surf movie that was awesome, but
Yeah.
to me, I'm more of a Roadhouse guy overall.
So I think some low hanging fruit that we're missing real quick before we end here. Speed, maybe, is that an action movie?
Oh, that was definitely Speed.
Yeah,
yeah.
and I feel like the Karate Kid's going to be in, and I mean, there's a lot of Seagal movies that probably could be in there.
So my
some Van Damme movies.
My fourth official one here. I don't know if you'll remember this one, but it was awesome as a kid. Highlander. Highlander. There can only be one. These like immortal dudes going around and have to
Yeah.
chop the other dude's head off. To like,
Wow.
that was intense and it was
Yeah.
awesome. And the dude, I forget the actor's name. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Now the one that I'd probably swap after hearing yours,
Yeah.
I'd probably slide Karate Kid more to an honorable mention, and in its place, way cooler, no offense, and well before Mad Max was Road Warrior, dude.
Oh,
That was the original one. The kid's throwing a boomerang and chopping fingers off.
Yeah, I
he
remember.
didn't have kind of the weirdness of Tina Turner going on. It was more hardcore and dark and intense and apocalyptic. It's almost sci-fi. Like it's like on the border,
right.
because they're in this apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
running out of gas, driving around these crazy cars. It's not like the later redo where it's all way overhyped and way over.
Yeah.
But in that movie, Mel Gibson was way cool action,
Right.
stud. So
I think we're going to lose a lot of listeners. They're going to be like, they didn't say anything from the last 20 years. I mean, I just don't really watch action movies
Yeah,
anymore. I
well,
can't even think of any.
and honestly, like-
Spider-Man count? You done Spider-Man like 9 times.
Okay. Yeah, and I want to leave like superhero movies out of it because
Okay.
it's like that's the whole genre. The Michael Bay thing, even
Yeah.
Transformers. I'm not saying they're not entertaining,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying like I'm talking about action movies before
Right.
it was a formula. Like,
Yeah.
By the time the 2000s hit and everything, like it all
Yeah.
became formulaic and more about the effects. And
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's why I kind of dig those early action flicks.
What's crazy, also about these Mount Rushmores is even when I listened back, I was like, oh, I forgot the one with what's the one with Sean Penn and
But Point Break is a close, man. Like, Swayze at his peak, and that was actually one of the better movies of what's his name, Keanu Reeves.
yeah.
I mean, you could get into like Matrix stuff, but again, sci-fi. We're getting the
Yeah.
sci-fi world there, so you
Yeah.
gotta,
You have to draw a line in the sand.
yeah.
there.
I mean, we'll have a separate one maybe for sci-fi movies one day, But we can't take it.
I'm gonna take the
Had
hat off.
to
I
go.
can't, I'm actually gonna do the prayer now because I've been working on that.
Nice, man.
And I didn't want to pray with my hat on. It just feels wrong. It's like whenever I go to the Ranger game and somebody they do a prayer of the national anthem and someone leaves their hat on. I'm like, man, take your hat off. Man. You're supposed to take your hat off.
Nice.
So you don't take your hat off.
guy.
Yeah.
We didn't have a prayer quiz sometimes.
We do need to have a prayer quiz.
Yeah, because he has some prayer stories, and I just want to mention before he actually prays, and we'll get back
Yeah.
to it. But his prayer life has been improving, man. He's heading more down the direction. So
I've been working on it. I mean, I think just like everything in life, you've been overthinking it, Steve. I'm an overthinker, man, and I just see at church, man. I was like, what? I have the perfect school of prayer people around me. Chris can pray on a dime. I can say, hey, Chris, pray for this mouse right here, and he can make something up that would fit the right room. And you got people at church and different people, and I was like, well, just be yourself. So, and just close your eyes and don't worry about who you're talking to. You're talking to God. Just have a conversation with Him and be thankful about something. Be hope something for somebody else. So I got like a little small like formula in my head to pay attention to the room and what I got going on. And whatever works for me, I found it finally.
all right. And all that to say, Steve will now pray. You got to pray just to make it today.
Yeah.
MC Hammer told me that one time.
Well, I will. I'm not gonna lie. With me, In my brain, if I write something down,
That's okay.
if I write something down, it's a little bit easier for me. So
Hey, Paul wrote down all sorts of stuff.
Paul wrote down
all sorts of prayers. So,
well, I'll lead us in prayer. So, dear Heavenly Father, I come to you today, Lord. I'm so thankful for so many amazing people that you have put in my life. You know, guys like Gerald and Jesse and Amon and Tay and Chris and all the many men that I've learned so much about your life and many different platforms. Lord, I pray that through this platform that we have here on CWA, that someone hears the good news through you, and it changes their life, just like you did mine. I pray for kids these days in school. Please be with all the kids, Lord, in safety from back and forth to school and in school, after school. Thank you, Lord, for my family and everything you did and you're going to do for me and do for them. In Jesus' mighty name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, 10th episode, 10 more. We'll have a 20 celebration next before you know it.
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend, yeah.
Tell them to get all cozy in the CWA fan club.
CWA fan
doesn't
club.
really exist, but
we're working on there, little by little.
Yeah, and we need a logo. If you're an artist,
yeah, we need a logo.
Make us a logo. We need a logo.
I'm down
bad.
for a logo. We need a logo.
It's terrible, our logo, whatever.
Yeah, it's something we got the default logo working.
Yeah. We might as well say Acme Podcast or something generic. Anyway. All right, thanks, y'all. Have a great one.
Yep.
Love y'all.